All right. So, did you feel it?
Feel what?
That digital bump in the road on Monday?
Oh, you mean
Yeah, when X
up
links
there?
went down
Yeah.
for a while there, it. I mean, for a lot of people, me
Mhm.
included, kind of put a pause on that. Scroll like
Oh, yeah.
doom scrolling that we all
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and it was interesting
It is.
to see how much we kind of rely on that.
Yeah.
Even that stuff that you're like, oh, I hate this. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep reading it.
It's very interesting, isn't it? It
Yeah.
really does highlight how, you know, integrated these
Yes.
platforms have become into our
Yes.
daily lives.
Yes. And then Elon Musk,
Oh, yeah.
steps up and he's like, it was a massive cyber attack.
Oh, wow.
He did say, oh, it was a little
Right.
glitch. He's like, no, this was a
Yeah.
massive cyber attack. And he's basically saying, like, look, we get attacked all the time.
Sure.
This
Yeah.
comes with the territory. But this one was different.
Yeah.
This was, well-coordinated, resource-heavy,
Wow.
and possibly backed by a nation state. I mean, that's
That's a pretty big,
streaming.
strong words.
Strong words, yeah. That's, I think when you start using terms like nation state,
Mm-hmm.
you're definitely raising the stakes.
Yeah.
It's not just, some kid in their basement.
No.
You're talking about, a well-organized,
Yeah.
well-funded group.
Yeah. So we're gonna unpack this whole X
Let's
outage for you.
Oh.
We're gonna go over kind of what happened, how big it was, and look at this idea that it was a nation state attack,
Yeah,
and see if we can sift through all that and figure out what really matters here for you.
absolutely. Let's start by setting the scene a little
Yeah.
bit. So let's take a look at the timeline.
Okay.
Kind of ground all these pronouncements in the actual experience.
Okay. So things started happening around 3:40 p.m.
Okay.
India Standard Time on Monday. And people pretty much immediately started reporting problems. Downdetector.com. Oh, yeah.
Which is sort of
The canary in the coal mine.
it's how we know the internet's
Right,
broken.
exactly. Yeah.
It started showing just a huge spike.
I mean, it's just, you see that immediate, people are aware.
Yes.
It's impacting them. It's a real-time
yeah.
kind of demonstration of how interconnected we all are,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. And we're talking big numbers here. Like over 21,000 reports
Wow.
in the U.S., over 10,800 in the U.K.
Yeah. I mean,
And
those
then-
are just the tip of the iceberg, really. Because you
Right.
think about it, those are the people who are going to a third-party website
Right.
to report an issue.
Yeah.
How many people, couldn't even get on
Right.
to tweet that it was down?
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't tweet that it's down,
Right.
then it's
Then you're not going to be represented
yeah.
in those stats.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like one way to get on. It was
Right.
both the app and the website, but it seems like the app.
Yeah, the app was really where... Yeah.
The problems were concentrated. I think something like 56% of the reports were related to the app. The website was about 33%. And then that remaining 11% is probably other access methods or, people who just had kind of general internet problems.
Right, yeah.
But it seems like the app was really where the pain was for a lot of folks.
Okay, so pretty much a system-wide shutdown
Yeah.
for you. So let's get to Musk. He came out, he said, hey, we're investigating. No surprise there.
Right.
But then he drops this nation-state thing.
Yeah. Which, I think really changes the whole
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Because when we talk about nation states,
Yeah,
we're talking about actors with, serious resources,
yeah.
serious capabilities. They could be,
Nice spying.
spying. They could be trying to disrupt things. It's not
Yes.
just about, making a quick buck.
Yeah. So,
Right.
does that mean that this was a test run?
I mean, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. A lot of times these attacks are used to just kind of scope things out, see how the target responds, see what their defenses are like. And, if you're a sophisticated adversary,
Fine.
this kind of outage could be a gold mine
Yeah.
of information.
Or was X the target? Like, was there something about X that they wanted?
I mean, you think about the amount of data
Yes.
that flows through X. You think about how much it's used to shape
yeah.
public opinion. I mean, it would make sense
Right.
as a target
Yeah.
for, anyone who wants to disrupt things or, maybe even do some espionage.
And I think the big question is this part of something bigger?
Right. Is
As-
this cyber warfare?
Is this...
Is this...
Yeah. I mean, because it feels like everything is so connected now.
It is,
you know,
yeah.
that you attack one thing and it could be part of a much.
Absolutely. And nation states are, integrating these kinds of capabilities into their strategies more and more.
Right. Now, of course, we should at least acknowledge the possibility
Sure.
that Musk might be.
Embellishing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, could there be a, more normal
Right.
explanation,
Exactly.
that he's kind of playing up?
It's always good to have a healthy dose of skepticism,
Yeah.
right? I
Really.
mean, nation-state attack is a serious accusation. You need evidence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he did specifically say that it wasn't an internal systems failure. So who knows?
Yeah. But regardless of who did it,
Yeah.
this whole thing makes you think about
Yeah.
how vulnerable
Right.
these social media companies are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not like X is the first one to
No.
get hit like this.
No.
I mean, we've seen it with Facebook, with Instagram, with Google. These platforms, they're huge. They have so much data, and they're so important
Right.
for how information gets shared.
Yeah. It's almost like they're too big to fail,
Right.
you know?
And yet they fail.
They fail.
Yeah.
And the fact that Musk, is coming out and saying this is a cyber attack. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because usually companies don't want to admit this kind of thing.
right, because it looks bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's reputational damage, there's legal liabilities. So the fact that he's being so upfront about it, I think, really does say something about how seriously he's taking it.
Yeah. And it makes you think, these platforms have so much power.
They do.
They have so much data. They can influence
Absolutely.
public opinion.
Yeah, it makes them prime targets for, anyone who wants to mess with things.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that for a lot of people, these platforms are essential.
Yeah.
It's not just about entertainment. It's how they get their news. It's how they communicate.
So for you listening, should we be freaking out?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think so. Short answer, no.
Okay, good.
But the long answer is not yet. I mean, yeah, it was a big attack, and the nation-state thing is worrying.
Yeah.
But as far as we know, there's no evidence that anyone's data got stolen.
Okay, so my credit card is probably safe.
As far as we know.
For now.
For now. But it is a wake-up call, I think.
Yeah.
And if there's one piece of advice I can give you, it's this.
Hit me.
Change your X password.
Yeah.
Especially if you're one of those people who uses the same password.
Oh, yeah.
For everything. Which I know a lot of people do.
A lot of the people do.
And hey, while you're at it, maybe change your passwords for your other important accounts too.
You know what? That's good advice.
Just good practice.
Yeah. So what about Musk? I mean, knowing him, we're probably going to hear more about this.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he likes to communicate. He might give us more updates as the investigation goes on. Maybe he'll even say something a little bit,
Oh, yeah. You love it.
be traumatic. So, yeah, I think you can expect to hear more from him. But just remember, take it all with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Right. Always good advice for you.
Yeah.
So this whole thing really makes you think,
Makes you think about what?
what if X just disappeared?
Oh, wow.
I mean,
That's a big question.
it is a big question.
Yeah.
And it's where would we all go? What would we do?
Right. I mean, we've all gotten so used to having these platforms
Yeah.
that it's easy to forget that they could just,
Vanish.
go away.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about, what would you do? What would your alternatives be?
Yeah. It's kind of scary, actually.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good reminder that,
Yeah.
these things aren't permanent.
Yeah. So bottom line.
Bottom line is, platforms like X are big targets. They've got a lot of data. They have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
And that makes them attractive to all sorts of bad actors, including, potentially
yeah.
nation states.
Yeah. Nation states.
Yeah.
So, I think this whole thing is a good reminder for you that, the digital world is not always a safe place.
Yeah. And it really makes you think about, how much we rely on these companies
Yeah.
and what happens when they go down. It's not just about, missing a few tweets.
Right.
It's about
your data.
Yeah.
It's about your privacy.
Yeah. So maybe this is a good time for all of us to take a step back and think about, what we're doing online,
Yes.
how we can protect ourselves.
Yeah. Think about your digital hygiene.
Yeah. So as you're thinking about that, think about this. If X can go down like this, what else that you rely on is maybe more fragile than you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. And what can you do to be more prepared for, whatever comes next?
That's a good question for you.
Because the digital landscape is always changing.
Yeah.
And, staying ahead of the curve is more important than ever.
Yeah. Good advice.
Thanks.
All right, well, that's our deep dive into the X outage.
Very interesting. Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
And thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.
See that?